Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Balderman, and I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Community Business Spotlight. Joining me today is Maxine from the law office of Doug Schlack. Maxine, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Tell me a little bit about the law office and what you do there.
Okay, we are a two-person, two-attorney law firm located here in New Lenox. We practice in the areas of real estate. We do residential and commercial purchases and sales. We draft lease agreements. We do annexation, special use permits, and tax appeals, anything related to real estate.
Okay.
We also do some estate planning. We draft wills, living trusts, powers of attorney, things related to estate planning. We also do some corporate work. We help clients set up corporations, different types of corporations. We can draft partnership agreements, and then anything that follows on from that, asset purchase agreements, stock purchase agreements, things like that related to corporations. We do some banking work, and that's pretty much
you cover quite a bit. Now, where's the office located?
We're located at 321 West Maple here in New Lenox, which is on Route 30, west of Cedar Road. We are the two-story red brick office building on the north side of Route 30. As a point of reference, I always say we're across the street from the Methodist Church grounds.
Sure, and everyone knows where that is.
And everybody knows where that is.
That's for sure. Now, how long has Doug been in business here, and how long have you been with the firm?
Well, Doug goes back to 1981, actually. He was practicing in the city of Chicago and had the opportunity, actually he moved out here and then he set up his practice here. The firm of Schlack and Associates has been in existence since 1997, but he's actually been in this area since 1981. I joined him 5 years ago.
Okay.
After practicing downtown and then with a local bank, and then I stayed home for a while, but then I started practicing about 5 years ago.
Very good. Let's talk about some of the services that you provide, and it's mostly in the area of real estate. Have you noticed that what you're doing now has changed drastically with the economy, what's happened with foreclosures, that sort of thing?
Yes, yes.
And what do you find that you're doing more now that you weren't doing before?
We're not seeing as many, definitely we're not seeing as many commercial real estate transactions. We're still seeing some residential, but that has declined. But we are definitely seeing more foreclosure work. More banks are seeking our services, and more clients are coming in and asking for advice on mortgage issues, things like that.
Okay. And you talked about also living wills, estates, that sort of thing. What advice do you have for people as far as making sure that all their affairs are in order and when they should be doing that? How often should they check that?
I think one of the best things that I can say is there are a lot of preconceived ideas out there. There's a lot of things that you see in the press that aren't necessarily true. And I think it's important, even just to consult an attorney to see what your specific needs are. Even if the advice is, well, at this point in time you don't need a will, I think it's important to have that conversation. I know a lot of people don't want to even deal with drafting a will and putting
Sure.
it down on paper, but I do think it's important to at least have that conversation and see if there's anything that you need to be doing. As far as how often, obviously if you've never done it, then now is a good time to be doing it.
Sure.
Don't put it off. If you put it off, then upon your death, whoever's left behind may have to deal with things that they shouldn't have to deal with.
And I was going to say, it must make things much more difficult once someone is gone, and not only that, then certainly their wishes may not. I mean, someone may come and say, this is what this person wanted, But if it's not documented, if it's not recorded, I imagine you may run into some trouble sometimes.
We
some
do,
battles.
we do, and unfortunately we see that a lot,
Okay.
where you understand what the person wanted, but it's not documented, so you can't prove it. And that's one other thing that we do also. We do probate
Okay.
estates, and it's much easier if the documents are there and we can prove and show what the person wanted.
Sure, and certainly talking about property is one thing, but this is a community of young families as well, with a lot of children, and I would imagine wanting your wishes known. I mean, no, it's not pleasant to talk about an untimely death, but we are talking about the most important things in life. That's our family and our possessions here.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
And I think one of the most important things is for young families. They probably don't have a lot of property right now, but as you say, the children are important, and that is one thing that I do advise for young families. In the will, you can designate guardianship for the children, and that's important.
Absolutely. I can't think of anything more important than that. Who's
Right.
going to raise your children? That's
Right.
So you've worked in different areas, you've lived in different areas. What is it about New Lenox that you like? And I'm talking with Doug, what is it about this community that you've decided to make this your home?
Well, I think one of the reasons we practice in New Lenox is because we both live in New Lenox.
Sure.
And we both chose to live in New Lenox. I can't speak for Doug, but I know I moved out here 15 years ago, and I have to say one of the reasons were the schools.
Sure.
We were looking to start a family, and that was important to us. But having been out here for 15 years, I just really like the community and the things the opportunities that we have here. It's a wonderful place to live, and it's a wonderful place to work.
And even in difficult times, we seem to be doing pretty well here, but you're right. What you're addressing, the issues that your firm deals with are really the most important issues in life, whether it's your biggest investment, your real estate, or whether it's your most prized possession, your family.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you would encourage people to seek some advice on how to go from there.
Definitely, yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, you've talked an awful lot about the services that you provide and why you're here. Is there anything else you'd like to add for our viewers?
I would like to add, as I said before, Doug has been in the area since 1981.
Mm-hmm.
He's very familiar with New Lenox, Will County, the surrounding area, and he has a lot of experience. And fortunately, I can draw from that, being his associate. So I would like to impress on people that we do have a lot of experience. We do know the area. And also, we're located right there on Route 30.
Sure.
Our door is open. Call us. Even if we cannot answer a question, we are familiar with the area. We probably know someone that can help. So I would just encourage people to keep us in mind.
And there's no doubt about that. There is a great deal of history that comes with Doug and with your firm. You're both very well respected in the community. I know you've appeared before the village board on a number of occasions. Always very professional, always very prepared for what you're doing, representing your clientele well. So, I appreciate as the mayor that there's a firm like you in town that represents their clientele well.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity.
No, my pleasure. And I want to thank all of you for watching this edition of Community Business Spotlight.